Hello and welcome back to Tiny Orders TV and the final armor set in our antique inspired armor sets for the 115 character color palette challenge. So starting out here, I've got my references hidden. I really just wanted to start out by blocking out this the shape of the armor before I got into the nitty gritty of detailing anything, because I knew I wanted this one to be kind of a bulky, tanky, almost like a Warhammer 40k style armor. And this design, in comparison to the others, is a lot less grounded in reality. Like, the other ones had at least a little bit of historical nuance to them. This one is much more Saturday morning cartoon villainy inspired, and you'll see that as I continue pulling the references in. I mean, just the silhouette itself is unrealistic. But I had fun designing this character because, like, I again had a very clear idea in my head, and so the execution was pretty simple for me. The only thing I change really is the pose. So I used this initial sketch to get everything placed where I want it to go, but then I'm looking at this character and I'm thinking, he's not wide enough. So I widen the character and then I start on the line art and coloring from there. So yeah, let's continue on with the video. So this is where I break down my references and pretty much explain my thought process behind what goes where. Finding, first of all, antiques in these colors, this hot pink and this like spicy green, was like a Herculean event. And I am just glad that I found anything at all. And I ended up finding some really cool things, like the little medicine powder box or whatever that is, and then that little glass bowl. Awesome textures, interesting things to work with as far as the idea I had in mind for my armor set on purpose. What I should have done was focus on the shape and then translating the shape into a different color instead of focusing on the color, because at the beginning, the very beginning of video 1, I had said, well, maybe I'll do one set where I'm focused more on the shape and then not the color, and then I didn't end up doing that because I already really liked the colors that were coming from the color palette originally without changing anything. So it was how do I describe it? Interesting trying to find antiques in those colors, because it's like, okay, would they even have those types of colors back when I'm thinking these antiques are being created? And there were some, so that task did get accomplished. Now, as far as where everything goes, with the line art, it's very easy to see where the things are being translated. You can see on the breastplate here, that's that sort of pink bowl that had those really delicate flowers on it. I just immediately saw that and was like, that would be a really cool thing to make into a hard chest piece. The other references I had, there were a lot of vases. Like, it's really easy to find really cool old style vases. The powder box, I bring that back in later, so you can see in the miniature version are his like bracelets. Because of the way I redesigned the gloves, I didn't have as much room to do that as a one-to-one translation from that design to this design. So I used them as arm bracers instead, and to get that same width, to be able to get the same amount of detail there. And yeah, everything else just cleaning up the color and filling in things, and then moving on to details and lighting. This little bit that I'm adding now is another delicate detail that I thought would be fun to add to a more traditionally heavy or traditionally masculine style armor set. So on the little green vase, you can just barely see it. If you want to pause and maybe zoom in, you can kind of see that I'm trying to recreate the shape of what looks like not quite a lacing, but like a very delicate gold lining, almost like little necklaces that are going around the vase. This also has more flower work on it, but I just go for the details in the chain. And then I also use that as an opportunity to add the web design from the pink and green vase onto the chains. I will add more webbing onto the costume later, but right now I'm focusing on cutting out where I want to put my lights from these flaming skull things. At this point in the drawing, I'm actually very pleased with the way this is going. I know that these were all supposed to be fully rendered, but the way that I've done this character, I think it's doing it more justice to actually do it in this kind of 2D cell shaded style versus fully rendering it. And that's not me taking shortcuts. I actually do think it would look better if I just fleshed it out this way instead of doing a fully rendered piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this first layer here so I can focus back on fine-tuning the lighting. And then I'm going to, just get rid of the second layer so I can see what I'm doing, and then just go from there and show you guys the finished product. I suppose I could use this time to expound upon a couple of either lighting tips or drawing tips that I use while making this piece. As far as the lighting goes, it's only a slightly modified version of the technique that I made an entire video about. You can go check that out. I'll put the link in the description. I'll also put a little blurb up here so you can click on it. Finish this video first and then go click on it. But instead of circling where the light would be coming from, I basically just used the magic wand tool to select where the lights would be and then cut back in where I felt the effect would be necessary to cut into. For the fire, so I will tell you how I did the fire. It's very simple. I actually discovered this technique while working on my webcomic Black Pearl, and instead of doing a bunch of different tricks that I used to do to draw magic and flames and things like that, I do it all on one layer. I pick whatever color I want, and then I just change the layer treatment to the outline. If you have Clip Studio, up above in the effect section, there's a little circle. You click on that circle, there's a secondary option that looks like a little speech bubble or a little paint blob or whatever. You click that and it makes the stuff automatically kind of like blurry and luminescent. I usually will also duplicate the layer and do either an add glow or an overlay just to pump up the brightness, but that's what I did for the flames. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if there's really anything new that I could tell you guys about what went into working on this piece. It was just a pretty standard sketch, line art, color, effects that I've gone over in videos past. So I guess I will also take this time to discuss plans moving on in the series, because this is number 31. I like even numbers, so to get back to, I guess I could do up till either 35 or 40, depending on how I'm feeling, of going back to individual illustrations, just doing whatever I want to draw based on the color palette. So I'll do that up to at least 35, and then if I'm not ready to do another series, I'll do it up to 40, and that way I can also, it's shorter drawings, so I can put them in sets of 3. Let's see, so that's 9. Actually, I guess it would make sense to do 3 videos of 3 sets of characters, so let's do that. Anyway, we've come to the end of the video. Here's the finished illustration. How cool is this? Yeah, I love the, like I had mentioned earlier, the kind of Saturday morning villain feeling. And this is the last armor set. I know I have to go back and do number 3, which was Strawberry Coulee, the kind of Rococo magic mime style armor set. But for now, here are the sets that I was able to complete, and I will include Strawberry Coulee because it's at a point where I can show it, but it's not finished. And that's it. I will see you guys in the next video. So yeah, again, we'll be restarting, just doing whatever character I feel like, and I will be going back to just clean lines, flat colors, calling it a day, maybe doing some simple shading if I'm feeling ambitious, but I want to try to keep the videos at about 10 to 15 minutes. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Have a weird day.